Hi, I'm Justin Boyd.
Hi, I'm George Luna.
I'm Brittany Pacheco.
And I'm just a young black man from the suburbs.
And we are the Watchers in the Basement.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Frank, for continuing an off-the-air joke on the air. It's good. Yeah, it's good. So as you can probably tell, if you look behind me, you can see our new Watchers logo. We are talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1. And, before I get started, I want to say, one of our Watchers obviously is missing, is Nathan. I believe it's his birthday today. So happy birthday to Nathan.
Happy birthday,
Actually,
Nate.
yesterday.
Yesterday was his birthday. Okay, sorry.
So, at time of recording,
right,
it was the day before.
it's his birthday week, and I don't want to reveal his age. I don't actually even know his age, but I'm pretty sure he's younger than Bucky Barnes, who we found out is 106 years old. So
Goodness.
anyway, happy birthday to Nathan and to
That
Bucky.
boy can still get it. Sorry.
So anyway, let's get to the first episode, Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was a show that I think that a lot of us were looking forward to seeing. The first episode is titled New World Order, which when I heard that, I was like, uh-oh.
Wrestling.
Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, they're going to invade. Because, I don't know, I want y'all to know this about me. I'm NWO for life. For life.
Wait, are you WO or you pro or you team WWE Attitude Era?
No, I'm NWO.
Okay.
Maybe Wolfpack also. Maybe. No.
I literally have no idea
You have
what's
no
happening
clue.
right now.
Yeah.
Me and Brittany are kind of like,
Yeah, that's a wrestling thing. It's kind of funny how, like in WandaVision, in one of the episodes, they played Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix, which was actually Hulk Hogan or Hollywood Hulk Hogan's entrance music. So like we've had back-to-back shows on Disney Plus reference the NWO. So there might be some like Marvel WCW crossover coming up in the future.
Oh my gosh.
I'm with it.
I'm ready for it. Me too.
If that happens,
I'm ready to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay, like let's get back to it.
We're getting there. You got to give me a break. Okay, I'm still recovering from the Snyder Cut. Okay,
Oh,
the greatness that was the Snyder Cut. No, but so the show starts with we see Sam, and he still is not. He doesn't want the responsibility of the shield, right? And then we immediately go to an awesome action scene. What did y'all think about this scene where he's flying through the air? We see Red Wing, which is his basically his R2-D2, his flying drone buddy.
It even did the little noise, like it had its own little noise.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it was cool.
Badass act. I think I'll just jump in real quick, Jay.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the action started right away. Compared to WandaVision, we were left a mystery, so it's like a breath of fresh air. That it just starts off this way, and we're already like off with action and just him doing a mission and doing stuff. So I'm glad that the show's a little more fast-paced, action-wise. Story-wise, I didn't think too much happened. It's still building up, and I'm sure it'll ramp up like it did in WandaVision. But I love that it's already action-packed, and it's gonna get even crazier from now on. I'm sure it has to.
Yeah, it was it really was very different from WandaVision to start out with. It was just this is an MCU story right away. It punches you in the face. And speaking of punching people in the face, do you notice how our good buddy GSP is back?
Yes.
It's Baltrog the Bleeper, or I'm not sure exactly what his name is, but he was in the Captain America Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool to see him come back, because I kind of was left wondering what happened to him after Winter Soldier. He was able to escape, and we find out that in this series he's the leader of some organization called LAF. Mm-hmm. They kidnapped this one captain that Falcon is supposed to retrieve, and it was cool seeing the fighting scene just immediately take place in the plane. And then he was, I don't know, he looked like a flying squirrel. They're flying through the air, they're shooting at each other, and it was interesting to see just all that take place like immediately, like George said. We're jam packed with action right from the get go. What do you think,
Yeah.
Frank?
No, I mean, I'm all on board with what everybody's saying. I'm just so enamored and impressed with Disney Plus and their shows. Like, before WandaVision came out, and before these shows started coming out, I thought that I was gonna get like a Diet Coke version of like these Marvel Cinematic movies with like dial back action and like good storylines, but just dial back action. But Disney is not sparing any expense when it comes to the CG, to the action sequences. Like out the gate, man, I'm just like, it felt like it felt like a Falcon solo film for a second. How it jumped off the screen, and I'm just very impressed. They keep on impressing me, man.
Yeah, reportedly each episode is like cost 25 million for each episode. So they're spending money on this series.
Wow.
It
Well,
looks like
Yeah, it looks like it, but it also looks like with Falcon, like he got a suit upgrade. Like the wings like are painted differently. I mean, it's cool to see like the wings like protect him, right? That was really cool to see. It's like they respond to him, telepathically or something like that. I think Red Wing is kind of on the same boat. So and then we were also introduced to his eyes or ears on the ground, and that's Lieutenant Joaquin Torres, who I think in the comics he has a significant role, where he becomes Falcon when Falcon becomes Captain America. So I think he's going to have a pretty big role in this series. Seems like a good guy, good kid. Is enamored with theories about Captain America and living on the moon, which I think was kind of funny. But this whole opening was cool.
Just to jump in real quick, in the comic books, Red Wing is actually a falcon. It's a bird.
Okay.
So they made quite a few changes with the story to kind of be more up to date with the current day.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about Torres, and Torres, he has a big arc in this episode. He's tracking down this group called the Flag Smashers, and this group believes that life was better during the blip, and they want a world without borders, no government. And honestly, like I didn't know much about this Torres character, and there's a scene when he gets attacked by, I guess what you would call the leader of the Flag Smashers, and this guy clearly has superpowers of some sort.
Freakishly strong.
Yeah, I thought Torres was going to die. Honestly, I thought, okay, he's the guy that dies right away, but he survived. What do y'all think about the whole Flag Smasher storyline, George?
I think it's interesting how they're trying to use like augmented reality to like showcase where they have like the hidden sign and where they're going to meet and stuff, like using all the technology and stuff like that. But that dude got the living shit kicked out of him. Yeah. Like he kicked him, he flew like 50 feet. It was so I'm curious to see, like, are they making more like Winter Soldiers? Is that dude? What is that dude? Like, what's happening? Because that dude was freakishly strong.
Yeah, I was fearful with Torres getting smashed in on cobblestone. I'm like, that's gotta hurt. I mean, Frank, what was your take with seeing this presumed leader?
I hate the name. I think that's a very bad name. But I do like the little montage of him whooping ass and going through the streets of, was that Paris? Where were they at? I can't remember. Switzerland. Yeah, no, the dude looks like a badass. I don't know how Torres survived that. Something about these regular humans surviving these crazy falls. Like I remember, like in Winter Soldier, when Winter Soldier beat up Falcon, when he bust out of that prison. I'm like, how are these human beings surviving these falls and these hits? Like, you're not super. Like, it's amazing to me. And like when I saw towards the next scene talking to Falcon, I'm like, he survived. Like, I was surprised by that. I was with you, Justin. I'm like, he has to be dead. He has to be the martyr of this of episode 1. But no, I mean, I'm a fan of how he wrecked shop, but I just hate the damn name. Oh my god, that's such a basic name.
Frank, if the Fast and the Furious people can survive all these insane accidents and jumps and crashes, this is a superhero world. They're totally fine.
We made that clear how the Fast and the Furious is ridiculous when it comes to these stunts and like these people surviving that. No, we made
ridiculously awesome.
Oh, that's too funny.
Superheroes in cars, that's an amazing idea. It works. It's worked. I mean, there's another one coming out this summer. I'm going to go see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I thought it's this year already?
Yeah, it's this. I
Yeah.
think it's in.
Yeah.
I think Fast 9 is in June or July.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, it's coming
But
out.
going back to Flag Smashers, it's a bad name, and I'm glad that was addressed in the show by Sam. I mean, he's like, wow, you know, just another group with a bad name. Like, and I like how at least with WandaVision they addressed her lack of accent, like what happened to her accent, and then this show, it's like, yeah, we know Flag Smashers is a bad name. We're just gonna go ahead and like make it known.
Yeah, it's always good to be self-aware.
Yeah.
So the next scene it's really a pretty important scene is we see Sam and he's donating Captain America's shield to the Smithsonian Museum in Washington D.C. and we see Rhodey's there.
Don
And-
Cheadle.
What's that? Yeah, Don Cheadle. Yep.
The GOAT.
And he asked the question that we're all wondering: why did Sam not take up the mantle of Captain America?
Mhm.
And I think it's a question like, you know, and I'm going to pose this to y'all, see what y'all think, but there's like layers to that question. I think that there's part of Sam where I think it's a noble thing because he, you know, Captain America was his friend, Steve Rogers was his friend, and he doesn't feel that maybe he's, you know, well, you can't read on my shirt, worthy. But it's a little low on my shirt. Or is it because he knows that, like, I mean, let's be honest, like, this country, is this country ready for a black Captain America? There's also that question.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of both, I think, Jay.
Yeah.
Because if you notice that guy that when he turned in the shield, he told him he was doing the right thing.
Do the right thing, yeah.
He was kind of like, I don't know, like he was just, I don't know. At the end of the show, we find out that, yeah, that dude's kind of racist. No,
You know what I saw? You know what I heard when he said you're doing the right thing? He should have said, boy, you're doing the right thing. Like I was going to say boy or like some derogatory term. Because like it was like, dude, like the look he gave him was like, motherfucker, you ain't good enough.
Right.
That's what I saw when he said that. It was very condescending about he said it to Wilson. And like, oh man, I love if the storyline stays true to the comic books, it's gonna be freaking epic of how they tackle racism and oppression in this show, and social and classism as well.
I just think it's ridiculous because, like, I mean, and this goes to something else later in the episode, but it's like Falcon helped save the universe.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just promote within. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you should do. I mean, not all organizations do that, by the way, but I think in this case, promote from within. Sorry, we're bringing a lot of other kind of jokes into this. Brittany, what's your thought on the whole thing, everything?
So, you know, with obviously the comment of, you know, you're doing the right thing, it felt very, I mean, you guys have already just, you know, said it. There seems to be some notes of racism possibly behind it, or that Sam can't live up to the mantle that is Captain America, you know, and it's apples and oranges really, because obviously Steve Rogers was Captain America for, you know, however many years and did so much, but like for Sam, that's obviously big shoes to fill. And like, can he do the things that, let's say, Captain America could do? Because the speech that he was giving at the Smithsonian before he handed over the shield was, you know, America needs like a new hero. America needs this. And I guess he himself just didn't feel like he's that worthy, I guess, for lack of better words. So I wonder what really is going on with Sam. I think we're kind of moving forward with Sam's storyline, is that when he goes back home to Louisiana, he's got, concerns back at home, with his sister and the family business and the ship, the boat that they had, the house, and things like that. I think that's where he feels like he's most needed at this time. It's not so much where the country may need him per se. It's he's needed where it matters, I guess, most to him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's also a component that maybe he just doesn't want this right now. Like I can see where after you were gone for 5 years, you come back and you're in this epic battle to save the universe. You might, want to pump the brakes on being the hero guy. I mean, obviously he's not totally giving it up, but there's also part of me that thinks like maybe, Captain America was a super soldier. He had the super soldier serum, and Sam Wilson doesn't have that. He has, obviously he's a former soldier, and he has incredible Stark tech, but he's not a super powered individual to my knowledge. So maybe that's part of it. And I don't know, this is probably a question for Frank. In the comics, does he get the soldier serum?
No, he doesn't. He does not. The mantle was passed to Bucky, and Bucky, we all know Bucky's story, but no, Falcon's just a regular old guy who had, in the comic books, his origin story is totally different. Like he can talk to birds, and he has like a actual real life red winged bird falcon that he associates.
He's Dr. Doolittle. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's one of those deals, but going back to the opening scene, not the opening scene, where he's talking to the public about the mantle and all that, and it's echoing his mind about, Steve was talking to him about, it doesn't feel like my shield. Well, it is. It's yours. Captain America, he's the giddy up optimism that Tony always talked about, really shined through with Captain America in Endgame when he gave him the mantle. I think, and a lot of it's privilege too. Like Captain America does not see the lenses through a minority as other people do of the minority. Right. Not saying that Captain America didn't go through, oppression and marginalization, because he did before he was given the serum. He was a pipsqueak. Nobody respected him. But again, that was in those times where he was still a white person, not going through what a lot of minorities were going through. So when he gave him the mantle, I know he meant well, but he didn't understand the justifications of what Sam was going to go through in the aftermath once he passed and went on. And I think that really shows the light of how Captain America is. He sees the good in everything. He sees the grandiose at a macro level, like, I'm trying to do the right thing, but there's so much shades of gray, especially dealing with the government and dealing with what the government views as what should be the patriotic, Eurocentric look of what a hero is supposed to look like.
Yeah. And I think there's just there's a leadership void right now in the Avengers and in this whole universe, because obviously Iron Man is dead and Captain America is gone. He's on some other world. He's 100 years old or whatever. So, right now, who's the leader of the Avengers? Is there a leader of the Avengers? I don't know who it is.
Are the Avengers even like a thing anymore at this point?
Wow.
It's sad to think about, but that's like the truth of it.
I mean, maybe they saw the Snyder Cut and said, we can't beat that. Hey, I agree. Did you see Black Suit Superman? I'm sorry, but pretty tough guy.
Oh man,
I love the Snyder Cut. I'm not going to stop talking about it. I don't care. I'll talk about it the rest of my life.
Oh my God. Did y'all notice during the Smithsonian scenes where Sam is giving the speech that Captain America was on his left still?
Yeah, the shield.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't notice. That's awesome.
I didn't catch that.
The picture that's hanging, and Sam is like holding the shield, and then he like looks. it's to his left, so Captain America is always on his left.
Okay, Marvel, you got me back. I'm back in. That's really cool. I'll have to like go back. I wasn't even thinking about that.
This is why you have me, just saying.
You think about stuff. That's awesome. Before we get to the other title character, let's wrap up Sam's story, because I think the next part is insanely interesting to me, and it's also like I also don't understand, because we see a scene where, and Brittany, you references Sam. We meet Sam's sister, and her sister has 2 young boys. They were obviously very young whenever the blip happened, and now they're 5 years older, and so Sam acknowledges that. The family, they've got some money issues, like a lot of people, and Sam comes back and he wants to help out his sister and his family, and they go to get a loan, and he gets rejected. And it's just like, again, this guy helped save the universe. Right. To me, that was insane. But then there was a good point. It's like, how are superheroes compensated?
Yeah. So the question was posed. Sam answers where, it was just on goodwill, and people felt inclined to, give and what have you. And I thought to myself, oh my God. So the compound and the armor and like whatever weapons that they had, that was all courtesy of Tony Stark. I mean, billionaire, philanthropist, playboy, whatever, but that's all it was. And then they don't have like savings or like a paycheck. I mean, I'm not saying Tony needed to pay them or anything, but like, let this be a lesson for everyone out there. You got to save, because one day that secure job that you had ain't going to be there. So, the fact that in itself, Sam was gone by, it was out of his control for 5 years, right? He was gone. Everyone else had to move on. But like, you're going to like hold that against him in a way of like, you've got no salary for the last 5 years. I didn't exist for 5 fucking years. Like, you fucktard. Like, sorry. But that really annoyed me. And because that banker was like, he was being all cool. Like, did you play for LSU? Oh, I've seen you before. And it's like, little wings in the air. And it's like, yeah, you're a Falcon. You're cool. Can I get a selfie? Then, by the way, no, we can't approve this loan. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, what the hell?
But I think that's very consistent. Oh, go ahead, Justin. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, did they establish, was it New Orleans? Is that where they were?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when he's driving, he's driving to Delacroix. Delacroix. And then he said he's always repping NOLA. So, he's a New Orleans boy.
I think Anthony Mackie is from New Orleans. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Go ahead, Frank. What were you going to say?
No, I think that scene it's just an ongoing. I think it's going to be an ongoing message throughout this season of if I was white and a superhero, right, I wouldn't have these issues, and it's like I'm good enough to save the world, but I'm not good enough to get a loan. It makes me wonder. That's Steve Rogers. He probably would have not only got given a loan personally. He would have had, like the president. He would have had anything he wanted. And yes, it is a civic duty to save the world, and you're doing it through goodwill. But if I'm putting my life on the line for the fate of the earth and the universe, I should be getting some free shit. Like, what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to pay for shit. Like, what the hell? Like, I say.
And not to mention, Frank, that their family has been banking with that same bank for generations, not decades, generations. So that doesn't hold any weight whatsoever. Like, come on.
To me, this scene really shows like another way the boys really got it right, because if superheroes were real, they would have endorsement deals that they would be making, you'd have merchandising contracts, and you'd have money coming in, anyway, just because of, people are selling your t-shirt or whatever, or buying hats or action figures or Funko Pops or whatever. So,
by the way, Funko Pops sponsor us, definitely. Yeah, I just want to say the boys got it right again. That's such a great part of that show, that the merchandise that superheroes would, rightfully would have a
a stake in.
I will say, this
Mhm.
will be the only time I'm going to reference Snyder Cut at all in this podcast about a different show. This is the one and only time we need Bruce Wayne to come in and buy the bank. Just saying.
But you know what though?
Wow.
I will say this about Marvel, and it's been consistent throughout the movies. You guys remember in Age of Ultron when once they got back from the opening scene of like attacking the Hydra base and like they're having that party, and Falcon and Captain America are walking up the staircase of the party, and Falcon's like, "Hey, so we gonna move to you? Are you move to Brooklyn?" And Cap says, "I can afford a place in Brooklyn."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're literally the World War II hero.
Mm-hmm.
You say the word in Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Endgame, you can't afford a fucking place in Brooklyn. Why don't they give you a free fucking place, mortgage free? I don't understand. You're Captain Steve Rogers, for God's sakes. So
But
if Steve
that's-
Rogers is not getting no free shit, I know damn well Falcon ain't getting free shit either.
But that's what I'm saying. Everything was taken care of by Tony. And now that Tony's gone, I'm sure Pepper, of course, inherits, or Morgan, their daughter inherits everything, whatever. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, are the Avengers still going to be a thing at this point? And if so, is Pepper going to more or less assume responsibilities like she assumed responsibilities for Stark Industries to keep that going? Is she going to be the funding, member of, Tony's legacy?
It's a good question.
Good question.
Good
Yeah.
question. And may not get answered until the next self-entitled Avengers movie. But
Right.
that's a good point. Like Captain Marvel's off base somewhere. She would have been probably the de facto leader. Thor is off world again too. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we probably won't get that answer until 2024, 2025, when the next Avengers movies come out.
Who knows? But like, it's just very interesting to see these characters that were kind of minor characters, if you will, in the Avengers movies, and now we're shifting focus from primary to now these secondary characters, and what life is going to be like for them, now that once again Tony's gone. The compound presumably it is gone because they destroyed it, but you know what I'm saying, like what's going to be life like for all these characters.
Another question I have too. So let's say all the heroes involved would agree with the Sokovia Accords. Within the Sokovia Accords bylaws or rules, would they have been paid? Because technically you're government officials at this point. If you only exercise your right in other countries with the permission of the government, are you paid employees at this point? Like what would have been had the Sokovia Accords went through?
Who knows, honestly. And I feel like maybe the one other person that could potentially fund this organization would be T'Challa. He's got the resources, he's probably got the money too, he's a king. That to me would almost seem like a very fitting role for him to step into to keep the Avengers organization going. Just throwing that out there.
And he was the leader of the West Coast Avengers for a long time too in the comic books.
Okay.
I mean, the one thing I learned is if I develop superpowers, I've got to become buddies with Bill Gates or like Jeff Bezos. I've got to get somebody to bankroll my my superhero exploits. So
Well,
good to
Elon
know.
Musk.
Good to know.
Elon Musk is here in Texas now, so that's probably a closer
Problem
bet.
solved. Problem solved. So that pretty much wraps up Sam's storyline for the episode. Now let's get to the other title character, the Winter Soldier, Mr. Bucky Barnes.
Woo!
Okay, first off, I gotta say, when we have that flashback scene and you see him in that mask and he's killing people, I'm just like, you know what? That mask is so awesome. Even anti-maskers have to be like, man, that's a cool mask. Like,
Right, Gina Carano, we're talking about you. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
God.
get so much flack for
So-
that. Sorry.
no, it was. We see that Bucky's life to me, it's amazing because the show is set like 6 months after Endgame, 5 6 months after.
Somewhere
I
around
can't get a gauge. I don't.
no,
Yeah, Falcon did make reference to a time period during his speech. He said like the many men and women who disappeared or who returned months ago. So I mean, months, it could mean anything
I watched
really.
the video. It said it was like, so whenever Wanda stuff happened, WandaVision, this takes place like a month or two after it. So it would have been like
Oh.
5 months or 6 months since the blip or whatever. I don't know. It took place apart. I saw a video that said it. I'll send it to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
That,
This is all the Spider-Man as well too, right?
No, before it. This is before the last Spider-Man.
Oh shit, I'm so confused.
okay.
Very confusing. But it's before. So
It's
that's
like watching Fast and the Furious.
2024 or whatever. So it's before Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I didn't realize Spider-Man was in 2024. I didn't realize that Far From Home was 2024.
Yeah. So it takes place before this. All this stuff happening right now is before Spider-Man.
Yeah, because isn't it where Endgame, when it first started, it took place in the year that it was released, and then they fast forwarded 5 years,
Yeah.
and then so that's the current
Yeah,
timeline
right.
that we're in for the MCU.
But I think it's actually Infinity War because Infinity War was 20.
I'm sorry, Infinity War.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
what I meant to
that's
say.
why that's where you get the 5. Yeah. Okay, that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes. Yeah.
I wish it was on like a year. This 5-year thing really puts things out of whack. That's a long time.
But I'm sure they'll make it come together.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm sure they're gonna make it come together, even if it's the 5 years, because like the out of whack stuff, like at least we know right now we kind of have a guide. So Wanda was first, this show's next, and I guess whenever the Loki show comes out, or whatever, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be before Spider-Man.
I think Loki's going to be separate because I mean the Loki that
Oh yeah, it'd be
came
awkward.
back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean he's from 2012.
That's true.
Right.
So
I wonder how they're gonna tie
yeah,
it. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. No, so going back to Bucky, we like what Justin was talking about, we see him back as like the Winter Soldier with the longer hair, the cool mask, and he's fulfilling some mission, you know, as he did when he was a Winter Soldier. And there's an innocent bystander at this hotel that all this takes place, and he's like scared shitless, right? He can't even put his key into his hotel room. And Bucky, you know, kills that innocent bystander and wakes up, and we see present day Bucky. He's got the shorter hair like he did, you know, back in the 40s, and he's sleeping on the floor. And I want to, you know, make note of that because that's something that Sam had first said to Cap when they first met about how, you know, it's your bed, you know, you can't sleep because, you know, over abroad, you know, you slept on the floor and, you know, made a pillow out of your rock and whatever, and your bed is just way too comfy, you're going to fall right through it. So, you know, Bucky still is having a hard time adjusting from Winter Soldier life to civilian life. And
yeah, because Brittany, he mentions that for 90 years he's just been going from battle to battle. He said he found calm or found peace in Wakanda for a little brief period of time, but he's just been. It's like in what's the movie where he's in Wakanda at the very end? They ask him where the fight is.
Black Panther.
Black Panther, yeah. He's like, "Where's the fight?" Like, that's his life. He's a soldier, you know. So,
And that's a sad thing. When he said, "I found calm in Wakanda for momentarily," he was in a hyperbaric chamber sleeping. Like he didn't wake up until the post-credit scene.
right.
Out of that hut. So like the calmness was him being literally knocked out in hyperdrive for like however long he was in sleep and cryostasis.
Well, because that has to give him some kind of peace of mind knowing that he couldn't be used as a weapon. You know, you found
sad.
It is sad. It's really sad because Zemo obviously in Civil War got hold of that red book that you know, he said the words to activate the Winter Soldier, and Bucky like tried and fought to not go back into that state of mind, right? So, you know, with Bucky now having to go to like a therapist, you know, as part of his pardon to make sure that obviously he doesn't, you know, do things illegal, but he's finding alternative routes to make amends with people on this list. By the way, that little notebook list is very similar to that of Cap's when he's writing down about Marvin Gaye, you know, that album. I thought that was kind of a cool nod, you know, kind of like this, you know, they're living in present time, but like they still hold on to some old school way of doing things, right? You know, writing stuff down. And on that list, funny enough, Zemo is on that list to make amends. I don't know if y'all caught that.
I
There's a
didn't
lot
see
of
that. No.
there's a lot of people on that list, and Bucky has to come to terms with things in order to, I guess, bring that peace back or bring that calm back that he may have once felt in Wakanda. And he does so by befriending an older man named Yuri.
See, the question I have about that, do y'all think that he befriend, like, was this man just his friend, or did he befriend him because he killed the guy's son? We find out later. What's that?
Definitely that. He because he was trying to make amends, like, and probably apologize to his dad for killing his son and stuff. He knows that. So he was trying to do it, but he couldn't. Like, he couldn't get the strength to do it.
I wonder too, like in terms of timeline, from when we first saw Bucky as Winter Soldier when he killed Yuri's son, like what's the time frame from that event to present time? You know what I mean? Like
that's several years, more than 5 years.
Yeah.
And we did learn from Bucky in Civil War when Tony was asking Bucky if he remembered his parents, having killed his parents, and he's like, I remember everyone. So there's a lot of trauma and a lot of guilt, I guess. I'm hoping it's guilt that Bucky's having to sort through, and that's not easy, and so I'm sure it torments him to be friends with the father of the man he killed. It's really sad.
No doubt.
It's sad. I think he was trying, though, like he's trying to become this new version of himself, and that I think that's why he was hanging out with the dad, like trying to like apologize for what he did, because he regrets it.
And I mean, there's benefits to hanging out with this guy, because this guy's like the greatest wingman ever. He sets him up with the waitress. Like, the guy just like very upfront, like he wants to take you out on a date, and it's just like, bam, it happens. Like didn't waste any time.
No.
Also, I do like how they they ask about Pinochle, and I've got to say, what is Pinochle? I don't even know what it is.
It's a card game, right?
Is it cards? Okay, I don't even know.
It's cards.
I'm a youngster. I don't know that.
Compared to Bucky, yes.
I mean, does he age or what do we like slowly, or how does it work?
I think it's the same as Cap. Like the serum like really slowed down their physical aging, what have you. Because you saw obviously when Cap went back in time or to the other branch of the universe, I don't know. He obviously did get older. He looked more like being 100 and something years old, right? But I guess with whatever serum Bucky was injected, yeah, it slows down his aging process as well.
That's the thing I've always wondered too, because like Cap, Bucky was frozen and unfrozen for a long period of time. So how much of it has to do with them being frozen and them their age being totally just paused while being frozen?
Yeah.
As opposed to not being frozen at all.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's a huge part, Frank. You're right, because if they weren't frozen, they'd be old as fuck like Cap.
Yeah.
That's
it.
Yeah,
it's an excellent point. Excellent point.
Yeah, because he was frozen for 70 years, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cap was, yeah.
Yeah, in that iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
It does. That's okay. 106-year-old Bucky can still get it. Just saying. Just saying.
He's playing Battleship too. Like, who has a Battleship like board game on him? You do? Seriously?
Yeah, I do.
Oh wow. Okay.
I like board games.
I played it. I don't have that. So
I like board games. I don't know. It's fun. It was cute to see him like on a date, because back in the day he was very suave and he could get all the dates and Steve couldn't. And then you saw that flip in Captain America: First Avenger, where Steve was getting all of the attention and Bucky's like, it's like I'm invisible. It's like he's like, I've turned into you, and so he's trying to get his swag back on, man. Like, let the guy do his thing.
Wait, but real quick though, I want to go back to the scene with the therapist, because that's my favorite scene of the show.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why it's my favorite scene of the show, for what, 3 movies now, we pretty much got functional deadpan personality. Like just a monotone version of Bucky, right?
Yeah.
And like as Bucky gets more comfortable being assimilated back into society, you see the smart assness, you see like the Justin Boy type of whippy personality with, because like he has funny one-liners with the therapist that makes me want to say, dude, where you been for 90 years?
Yeah.
This guy's fucking funny as hell. Like
That
like he's the third-
sardonic sense of humor is just it's so on point.
That's the term, sardonic. It was
Yeah.
on point. It was literally my favorite scene of the show, and how he talks about going from battle to battle for 90 years and finding calmness. And for him to say that, for therapists to be like, oh, that's total bullshit. Like I was like, what? Like that was funny as hell to me.
Yeah, he's like, well, what the therapist asks, well, what do you want? Peace. That is utter bullshit. He's like, you're a terrible shrink. Like it's great. It was a great line. Yeah, their banter was fantastic. And then the scene of Bucky obviously making or crossing off a name off his amends list, and the routes that he took to make sure that this congresswoman or senator or whatever gets busted. And before doing so, he's like, yeah, I'm not the Winter Soldier anymore, and this is my way of making amends. And then he just smiles, and then you see it cut back to him smiling to the shrink. And it's so, I love Sebastian Stan. I think he's fantastic. I mean,
I had no idea he had that kind of range as an actor, and so because I mean I hadn't seen him in anything else besides the Marvel movies. I mean I'm sure he's been other things, but like
he had a brief cameo in Black Swan with Natalie Portman. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but like finally seeing
he's had a long run with Marvel.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, and like just seeing that personality, I want more of that from Bucky. Like
I want more of Bucky.
Brittany, what are you talking about? There's plenty of Bucky's here in Texas. They're everywhere. You can.
I will find you a World War II veteran, Brittany. And call
the whole other beaver right there.
95-year-old World War II. I'll find some authentic survivors for you, okay?
Do what you gotta do, Frank. I appreciate it.
Back to the psychiatrist scene. I did think it was pretty interesting how she was like, hey, give me your phone. And she's like, you've been ignoring all the texts from Sam. I thought it was kind of interesting that Sam had tried to reach out to him.
Yeah.
What do y'all make of that?
I think it's because like he's the last link to Cap. Like that's something that he could probably connect to or relate with, and maybe he just wants to reach out to him or something and communicate with him. Especially because he knows that the Winter Soldier doesn't have anybody. Like, who else does he have? No one.
Or, just throwing it out there, could it be maybe there's slight bitterness from Bucky that the shield was passed on to Sam as opposed to Bucky? I mean, think about it. They were best friends, since they were kids, Cap and Bucky. But Cap chose Sam over Bucky.
Then again, he was a villain, dude. So I would not.
That's true.
I wouldn't pick him either. Especially in the public eye, they're gonna be like, "Yo, didn't this motherfucker attack us like several times?" Oh yeah, no.
But I will say this about Winter Soldier too. Like, he doesn't give me "I want to be a hero" vibe. Like, I feel like the last battles he fought in was because it was in the fate of the universe, and he didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I feel like with all the torment he's went through as Winter Soldier, I think he wants to be left alone. And that's. We're talking about 90 years of torture and 90 years of mental abuse and manipulation. That's a lot. That's a lot for one lifetime, let alone 90 years of a lifetime. And I think a lot of it is, if I answer his phone, I'm gonna get pulled back into saving somebody or trying to make right, and save the world. I'm not ready for that again after the events of Endgame and after the events of losing my best friend.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And two, I think it's hard to make that adjustment. All my friends who have been in the military, they have a hard time adjusting to civilian life in general. And yeah, I think who knows why Sam reached out to Bucky. Maybe it would have been for that mission in the Middle East, and Bucky's not ready for that. And it's sad though, because it's like you know, you made friends with someone, and like the therapist said, you have to nurture, you know, friendships. Like you have to put in some kind of effort into it whatsoever. One of the question actually want to pose to you guys, the comment that the therapist has said about Bucky's mind, you know, he has his mind back. Do you think that presumably with Zemo, he knows the words? And if he were to encounter Bucky ever again, do you think if he just said those words from the Red Book that it would reactivate Bucky?
No, I think Shuri cured him. I think when he got out of the ice in Wakanda, I think she fixed him.
Okay.
Cause like I remember in the post-credit scene of Black Panther, she said "Welcome back." I don't think she would have awakened him if he wasn't already fixed.
Okay.
I'm saying it like he's a dog or some shit, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
that was taken out of his head.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious because obviously we're putting characters back together that, you know, wreaked some havoc in a previous movie. So just wanting to get clarification, you know, if that were to happen again, which obviously I wouldn't want that to happen again for Bucky's sake. But yeah, like these story arcs, I think are going to evolve very well. We're obviously going to see the duo back again, along with some other characters. So I'm not looking forward to, though, about this, you know, new Captain America, though.
Yeah, we have a new Captain America. It's his name is John Walker, and he is the new possessor of the shield. In the comics, he's also known as U.S. Agent
13.
Frank, what can you tell us about this character in the comics, at least?
So U.S. Agent 13. So when Captain America dies in Civil War, he gets killed by Red Skull. I mean Crossbones. The world is void, and they need another hero. So they enlist. Well, Falcon was supposed to be given the mantle, but with the whole racism thing, they gave it to Bucky, and then after they realized, oh well, Bucky, you kind of murdered a lot of people. We can't have you. You can't be the
They
guy.
realized it after the fact. Wow.
After the fact, yeah, like General Ross. Well, it went over General Ross's head. He didn't know about it, and then once he found out that it was Winter Soldier, they took it off his mantle. I mean, I took it off of him, and they listed this former, I think it was a World War veteran. I mean, not war, Vietnam veteran, John Walker, and he's like this pristine, regular guy, pristine, past, you know, happy-go-lucky guy, and they made him the new Captain America. Well, Captain America comes back from the dead, and when he comes back, John Walker is pretty much sent away, but then John Walker becomes a villain later on because he didn't want to let go of the mantle. I stopped reading that comic book because I didn't really care about John Walker. He's a regular old guy that nobody gave a fuck about.
Frank
came back.
Frank, so was he a super soldier? Like, did he have the serum as well, or no?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He's just a regular. From I remember, he's just a regular guy.
Yeah, I think Cap was the only one to actually get the full-on super soldier serum.
Yeah, I didn't know if the government was secretly working on something or something like that for this guy or something.
And Bucky's super serum was not the same strand from Cap. It was
the
Hydra created their own super serum. And that's how he got his powers.
You know who this dude looked like to me? Frank, you watched The Queen's Gambit, right?
I did.
Didn't it look like homie with the big ass jaw? The one that was playing chess with her with the fucked up teeth?
You're talking about Harry Mellings.
That guy.
Celtic, right?
Yeah. George.
Quick second.
George. Harry Mellings was Dudley Dursley in Harry Potter. He was the cousin. That's the same dude.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He did fix his teeth.
For a quick second, I was like, yo, that guy looked familiar. Like his jaw, just that big ass jaw. He also looked like Nightstack.
But Justin knows who the actor is because he had to point this out to me. I didn't realize this.
Yeah, so John Walker is played by Wyatt Russell. He's Kurt Russell's son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son. So we have Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and his son is now in the Marvel universe as well.
That's pretty crazy.
And I'm not super familiar with his work, but I gotta say he looked pretty goofy in the Cap mask.
It's
It was very
I think it's the nose. I think the nose is just so
The
prominent.
chin
And
also.
the chin. Yeah.
Yeah.
this whole like big ass jawline and the chin just
Mhm.
looked weird.
Yeah,
So
I think. Go ahead.
I have a question, and maybe you guys can answer it or not. The guy that introduced the new Captain America is the same guy that said
That was a
to
racist dude.
Sam, right?
Yeah.
Said to Sam at the Smithsonian, you're doing the right thing. Who the fuck is this dude? Like, is he some government official? Is he not the president? I don't
That's what I
think.
was thinking. I was like, why the fuck is the head of the Smithsonian like?
Right.
Exactly. And then why would the Smithsonian be so like willing to give up the shield?
Yeah,
You know,
when they donated to him. It made no sense to me either.
exactly.
I think he's with the Department of Defense. He mentioned something about, the Department of Defense, the Commander in Chief has given me this, right or whatever.
That's so dumb. Like, oh yeah, I know you just donated this, but I'm gonna need it back like literally today.
Yeah, I mean it's because like the donation press conference seemed like a big deal. Like, it seems like a lot of people would have seen that. It wasn't like it was like a secret, handshake under the table kind of deal. So
Mhm.
that is interesting that they would like turn around like a few days later and be like, oh, we found somebody else for the shield.
Oh my god, what did y'all
So-
think about Sam's reaction to it? He seemed like kind of heartbroken about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
like
agree.
I think he feels like that's Steve Rogers' shield or it's nobody's shield. Or if someone else, I mean, like I was handpicked by Steve Rogers to take it. Like I should be the one. If there's gonna be one, I should be the one. Maybe that's what he was thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, Frank?
Yeah, that was weak as fuck, man. About them to do that, like he has this grandiose press conference to say, hey, you know what? I'm not good for the shield. It should be left alone. And then for you to agree and go ahead and behind his back give it to somebody else, that's some chicken shit. That was weak.
Yeah, no, it was. I felt for Sam. I mean, because obviously he's dealing with family stuff, with trying to keep the boat in the family and trying to get that loan to make ends meet. And he this is on the heels of finding out what happened to Torres, in Switzerland. So he's got a lot going on, and then now you're bringing in this new hero, and again, I wonder, like, does this mean that Falcon is teaming back up with this Captain America as he did with, previous Cap? Is the Avengers still going to be a thing? Like, what does this all mean?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we shall see.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, U.S. Agent 13 did have superhuman abilities. His evil scientist, he was in Carl Malice. He was in the second season of Jessica Jones. He was a scientist that augmented his DNA. It wasn't a serum, but he found a way to augment his DNA to where he had superhuman abilities.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you, Frank.
That makes some sense. Okay, so that wraps it up for the first episode. All in all, what are y'all's feelings about the show? I'll go to George first.
I think it was a solid episode. Stories started kind of slow, but action packed. So I'm all for action. So if the story gets better from there and the action keeps ramping up, I think it's gonna be an amazing show.
Cool. Brittany, what'd you think?
I had to watch it twice because I'm still having a hard time letting go of expectations. I want them to just like delve right into it because we already have a well-established sense of heroes and cast and what have you. But this like Wanda is going to build up to a bigger ending, of course. So I think this, like George said, was a solid start. We've got good background reference as to obviously what's going to happen for the rest of the season. And I'm really excited for the second episode to premiere because I think this premiere, if I'm not mistaken, was like the most watched premiere on Disney
It
Plus.
was the most watched premiere for a Disney Plus show. So that includes both seasons of The Mandalorian and WandaVision. So people are watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes. So that was really cool. Frank, what were your thoughts overall on this show?
I mean, pretty much echo your guys' point. I think I think we have such a big background of like these characters from the movies. I can't wait to see what more how many layers get uncovered here with Winter Soldier, the aftermath of Falcon, giving up the shield, and the racial tension with that. I'm excited to see Disney take this story and take it to heights that I've never seen Disney go before. Disney's pretty much, they have a safe antidote, and when you watch all their movies, it's pretty much evil queen, good guy, protagonist, big problem, the protagonist wins. But now you see more political stuff behind this and racial things behind this that I can't wait to see how Disney's going to handle this. And from what I've seen from episode 1, if that's episode 1, it's going to, I know by episode 6 or 7, it's going to be like probably one of the greatest shows Disney has ever put out. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
How many episodes in this, Jay?
It's 6 episodes.
6?
Yeah, just 6. So we got 5 more.
What?
Yep.
I know.
And I think just like WandaVision, I think it's just going to be a one-off season. There won't be like a season 2. It's just they're telling the story of these 2 characters in these 6 episodes. So
that's kind of disappointing. I thought it was going to be like 9 at least. Okay.
now 6. I think they're all going to be like about an hour. So it'll be about as much as WandaVision was. It'll just be broken up into a different number of episodes.
I do feel that considering that this show ran longer than WandaVision did, it didn't feel like an hour or almost an hour.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, bro. It did not feel like it. Also, the end credits on that show, like starting from that, it's literally 6 minutes long. So
yeah.
You gotta cut all that down.
Yeah. Well, I love the visuals for the end credits. I mean, it's very Marvel, of course, and very true to I think it was Winter Soldier, if not Civil War type end credits. And there's a lot of Easter eggs in there. Like there's reference to the December 16th, 1995 or 1980, whatever year it was that Tony's parents were killed. And the Red Book with the writing of the words that activated Bucky. So like just those little Easter eggs here and there, I appreciate the attention to detail, because that's very much part of these characters' stories,
Yeah. I think we're all looking forward to seeing how this story unfolds. And we'll be back next week to talk about episode 2. But before we leave today, let's talk about some news in the MCU. We learned that recently that Black Widow has been moved back to July 9th. It will be in theaters, but also on Disney Plus with Premier Access. So that means, you can watch it. You have to have a Disney Plus account, and then it's like $30 to watch it. What do y'all think about this news?
So
Wait for Frank to pay for it.
What's that?
I said I can't wait for Frank to pay for it.
You know what though? Honestly, like now granted, no one shares accounts. That's like fantasy world. No one does that.
I don't use
But if you think about it, the $30 is not as much as you think it is, because I think you get the movie for like a month or something. And so you can watch it as many times as you want. Because if you go to the theater, if you buy a ticket to a theater, I don't know about now, but in previous years, you're going to spend $20 to $30 with popcorn and Coke or something like.
For sure.
I know for a fact I spent $200 on Black Panther the 9-10 times I saw it in theater. I know for a fact I did.
Yep.
Easily.
Yeah, but you were doing a good thing. You were bringing kids, to see it.
No, Brittany. I'm not talking about the kids when I spent on kids. Just me. Just me watching it. I saw it 9 times in theaters by myself. The kids and stuff, that was separate. That was well $500 altogether if you include myself. Myself was around like $200. I spent $300 on the kids. Yeah.
Listen, when they say treat yourself, Frank treated himself. No, Justin, I see your point about like the spending the $30 to be able to stream it, for a month at your own home. To me, like it's still a lot of money because it's at my house. Like if I'm going to spend $30, it's because of the experience of going, somewhere and seeing it on the big screen. I said that before. I'm going to stand by it. But at the same time, I'm probably going to pay $30 because I've been dying to see Black Widow because Natasha Romanoff deserved her solo film. I mean, she died for us, y'all. Like she needs to have her solo film. Frank
Right.
needs to see her in that bodysuit one more time.
Mm.
You know, yes, let us.
Good point.
And you know, they how many times did they change the dates? 3 times at this point now.
Yeah.
So
May
We d-
last year, November, then what, February of this year, and now May again.
Yep.
Oh, it's July.
now July.
July.
I think it was supposed to be May for 2021.
Going to be May 7th. They pushed
Yeah.
it to July 9th.
So it's about damn time. I'm glad Disney finally decided to put it on Disney Plus along with releasing it in the theaters. You know, I will probably go ahead and spend $30 and get the movie ahead of time, because ultimately it will be released, you know, later on for all Disney Plus users, but I'll probably go ahead and pay it because I have to see it. I bought a shirt specifically for Black Widow. I won't wear it until I see Black Widow. So anyway.
So you're already invested.
Oh, I've been invested.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about damn time.
The thing is, I think that initially this is going to be kind of a rare thing because from my understanding, so by pushing Black Widow back, all the other movies are going to fall back too. Like I think Shang-Chi is now in September. The Eternals are now in November, and then Spider-Man 3 is going to be like in December, like December 18th or something. So from what I've read, all those other movies are going to be theatrical only. So you're going to have to go to theaters to watch those movies. But this one, because it's still going to be in a time period where people are getting vaccinated and things are opening up, it'll be a special case scenario. So
I wonder too if the reason that they have to go ahead and release Black Widow is because they can't progress with the rest of the movies. Like, does Black Widow feed into any of these other storylines that we will eventually get or not? Or will it feed into any of the Disney Plus shows that we're going to get? Because I feel like in one of the trailers for Loki, I feel there was like a Natasha Romanoff silhouette in the trailer. I'll have to go back and look at it, but I just wonder if like there's any connection whatsoever.
yeah, you know, we thought that because last year, like it seemed like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was really attached to Black Widow, but that's obviously not the case because the show is going to be well over before
Right.
Black Widow is available. So
Right.
I don't think there's a huge connection, but
Never.
I think they had to make a decision because it affects all their other movies. You know what I mean? So they have 4 movies they're putting out this year. They really can't push it back any further. So
I agree.
I think ultimately they probably made a good decision. So
Yes.
And of course, Entertainment Weekly asked Kevin Feige about the Young Avengers, and he gave this long diplomatic answer about Phase 4 is going to introduce a lot of characters. He didn't specify which characters, but Entertainment Weekly speculated with, you know, the Clint Barton project, Kate Bishop Hawkeye series, and then WandaVision introducing Speed and Wiccan, and then there's supposed to be speculation of Cassie taking the role of Stature, which is a Marvel character, being Ant-Man's daughter in the comic books. Those characters might comprise the Young Avengers, so we could be getting a young origin stories of all these characters becoming Young Avengers in the next 4 or 5 years. But Kevin Feige has not said anything yet. He just said Phase 4 is going to introduce a lot of characters. That's pretty much what he said in an interview with NTV last week.
Okay.
yeah, that would make sense because I mean, is Miss Marvel's one of the Young Avengers, right? I would assume.
Yeah, Kamala Khan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speed and Wiccan, Stature. Yeah.
Does Morgan Stark become like an Avenger?
Riri Williams does.
Okay.
So she becomes Ironheart, which is she was a protege of Iron Man. Pretty much how Spider-Man was a protege of Tony. That's how it was in comic books with Riri.
I see.
She creates her own Iron Man suit, and she becomes Ironheart, and she becomes part of the Young Avengers as well. That's actually a brand new character as of like 2014. So it's pretty new character.
It's going to be a Disney Plus series also.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is.
So it sounds like they're going to build up all these Young Avengers characters on Disney Plus and eventually lead to a movie. So that's a cool idea.
Take note, DC.
I'm here for it.
That's how you do characters.
No, just continue the Snyderverse.
Stop
Which-
naming
that kinda leads
people
me-
Martha.
That leads me to another news story that on Monday morning, one of the spokespersons for Warner Brothers came out and said, "Yeah, we're not going to continue the Snyderverse." And it was just like, people actually like the Snyder Cut. Like, it's got like 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, a lot of people, like, I wasn't one of the people who I thought who you think was going to like the movie, and I really like it. So I wish they'd continue the story, but apparently they're moving forward with other plans. So
Does he have a good relationship with Warner Brothers?
Zack
Zack
Snyder,
Snyder?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're happy to kind of move on, but
Just
I
cherish
still.
this movie forever, Justin.
What's that?
But just cherish this movie forever.
I will.
Probably the only thing I'm gonna have.
Yeah. I want more of the nightmare scenario. I want to see how that plays out. I know it's crazy, but I want to see it because it's not like they have what's their plan instead of that? I mean, I guess they got a new Batman coming, they got a new Superman coming, but like they're not going to be connected. So why couldn't you have this also? I mean, people want to see this stuff. I'm sure it did really well streaming. I mean, it's probably the best thing that HBO Max has ever had. So anyway, I digress. Speaking of HBO Max, there are 3 more Game of Thrones spinoffs in the works. That's a total of 6 spinoffs that
Wait, 3
HBO
more?
There's 3 more.
3 more.
What show?
Oh, I was so disappointed on one of the shows when I heard about this. So the shows that are in development or talking. So the first one is called The 9 Voyages. It follows the great voyages at sea made by Corlys Velaryon. The second spinoff will be called Flea Bottom, and that is setting in the poorest slum district in King's Landing. The final one is entitled 10,000 Ships. It follows Princess Nymeria after her defeat by the Valyrian Freehold. So out of the 3, I personally would be interested in the last one. 10,000 Ships with Princess Nymeria. I know that Arya Stark was, I think she was a fan of Nymeria because she did name her direwolf after Princess Nymeria. So I think that'd be cool. That would sound cool. I'm not too sure about Flea Bottom. Like, what could be so interesting to do a spinoff of Flea Bottom?
Young Davos getting out the hood.
There you go.
Let's do that.
That's true.
Am I getting a what was Robert's bastard's name?
Oh, Gendry.
Oh, Gendry.
Am I getting a Gendry origin story that I should give a fuck about?
Yeah, I mean, and we still don't even have, House of the Dragon, yet. So, but they're talking about doing these other spinoffs. It's like, we still don't even have the final of, Songs of Ice and Fire. George R. R. Martin, what the fuck are you doing? Frank is dying over here, needs the books.
He's becoming enemy, like public enemy number 1 for me. It's like Trump and it's like Trump and then he's like 1B right now for me. Like I'm really getting annoyed with him. I'm getting really annoyed with this motherfucker. Like, dude, you have 2 more books to write. Fuck these shows, write these damn books so I can have a different ending in my head from what I saw on TV last year.
There's 2 books. It's Winds of Winter and The Dawn of Spring.
Frank said writing shows. What shows is he writing? He's writing these shows?
Well,
no.
Well, he's not writing shows, but he's involved. He's involved with these.
Yeah, he's involved with the House of the Dragon. He's definitely involved in that one.
Yeah, dude,
but he's been writing other short stories. Like he's doing
egg and shit like that. Things that nobody gives a fuck about. Like I don't care about Duck and Egg.
Yeah.
So Frank, I know you like to travel. Next time you're going to travel anywhere, go to Santa Fe, New Mexico. That's where George R. R. Martin lives. Do your thing.
I need an address. I need a pinpoint address where he's at. So
Listen,
you know what?
Can't disclose my resources here.
Once he finishes those books, I know who should direct the next show.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Could you imagine the Snyder cut of Game of Thrones? How awesome that would be.
How many slow-mo scenes are we gonna get? Good.
So I read an article that said 10% of that Justice League movie, that 4-hour movie, was in slow
Yeah.
motion.
24 minutes and 7 seconds of the movie was slow motion. How
No.
amazing is that?
That's
No,
a lot.
That's too much.
That is that is a literally like the length of a sitcom on TV
Yep.
Exactly.
of all slow motion.
Oh,
That's too much. Mm-mm.
I love it. I love it. Give me more. Give me more.
give me more.
Speaking of that, did y'all know that the Snyder Cut is going to be released again on HBO Max in black and white? It's called the Justice is Gray edition.
Who the fuck?
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, Justin's gonna be
Don't tell me
watching
you're
it.
gonna watch it.
What's that, George?
I said, don't tell me you're gonna watch it in black and white.
I'm going to have to for this show. I'm doing this for you, the viewer and the listener, right? So you don't have to.
Wait, that was singular. That wasn't plural. That was singular.
I know.
Listeners and viewers.
Oh man.
My final thing is, and this is maybe just for me and Frank. So Superman and Lois, they've had 5 episodes. Pretty good show. Pretty good show so far. I'd say 4 of the 5 are really good. But the show is about to take a 7-week hiatus because there's been two COVID issues on the set, so they're having to take a huge break. So Brittany and George, if y'all want to get caught up on Superman and Lois, you've got 7 weeks to watch the 5 episodes.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Listen, that's the same amount of time it is for me to finish my semester for my MBA. I'm good.
You know what? Honestly, you could the 5 episodes of Superman and Lois probably less time than the Snyder Cut. Not kidding.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
It's pretty close.
I don't know.
So
I'm
anyway,
I'm okay.
Oh my gosh.
you're good.
I'll wait for season 3 of Titans.
Yeah, that's coming. Apparently, maybe in the fall, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it.
We gotta do a show about Titans, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for sure. And we'll be back next week to talk about episode 2 of the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I keep saying just the Winter Soldier. I don't know why. Like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's a long title. Like when you have we're the Watchers in the Basement, and we're talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's a lot. It's a lot to say.
Words are tough.
How do people find us on social media, though, Brittany? Being that we are the Watchers in the Basement.
You got to remember all those words to search for.
So if you're like me, you're screwed. Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, check out Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Be sure to also head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the Watchers in the Basement and hit that notification bell. Be sure to like our videos because we appreciate it. Also, leave us comments. We will reply. So far we've only had 1 comment. But it's cool. Last but not least, if there's anything that you do want us to review, just let us know by using the hashtag Watchers Basement. Best place to hit us up at is Twitter for that hashtag. And be sure to share this podcast with your friends and family, coworkers. God, I don't care who it is. We're a small podcast. Well, we're not a large podcast, but we are a proud one. Sorry, I know what I was saying. Words are tough, y'all. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for me. I'm going to stop talking.
Thank you, Brittany. Yes, we are a podcast. So for Brittany, George, and Frank, this is Justin saying we'll see you next week. We talk about episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Bye-bye.